This contestant for one fall is for the WWE Championship.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Welcome to Around the Turnbuckle. I'm Big Al. Conspicuous by his absence is the professor, but he will be momentarily. While we are waiting for his arrival, I want to thank everybody who's ever watched and ever supported us on Around the Turnbuckle. We are getting real close to our 5th anniversary. That would be in June. We had our first episode in late May of 2020, and on 2025 in May we will have our 5th anniversary, and the professor is now joining me in a moment. What's up, Professor?
What's up? Trying to find a Mania card real quick.
I got the Mania card. I got you covered.
Okay.
I got the Mania card. We got it all covered, man. We got all bases covered. It's been a while since we've done a PLE preview show. We used to do it for the Big Four, the Royal Rumble, the Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. Then we kind of cut it down to just Mania. And then last year I was at Mania, so we really didn't have a preview show. And I was also at SummerSlam with my wife in Cleveland. So I saw the return of the OTC. So before we get started on like our predictions and our all that cool stuff about the next weekend's card for WrestleMania, maybe we should talk a little bit, Professor, about the state of the WWE these days. I mean, it seems, can it get any hotter?
I mean, it can always get hotter. It can get, stupid attitude era hot, but I mean, I don't think that'll honestly ever happen again.
Yeah.
I think the landscape of just television is way too different now. Like nothing is gonna ever catch on like that again.
Right.
It's just not possible.
Yeah, and I mean, what I mean by that though is like they keep it almost like every time they have a PLE, they're like, oh, it's a record crowd, it's a record crowd, it's a record crowd every single time. They're talking about gates.
They're talking about gates, and they're talking about, they're also being smart, and they're running markets that they haven't run before. Like I had heard this year, pretty much everything that's not a Big Four, they're going to run internationally. And when you run internationally, you're running starved areas that they don't go to. So it's an event for them to go there. I mean, that strategy is not going to work forever, but if you can rotate it to where it's like, okay, England's going to get one show a year, or Ireland's going to get one show a year, something like that, you are going to be able to milk that forever. But yeah, I mean, we all know if you adjust for inflation, the gates are going to come down, and it's going to be, I think the 80s is probably still going to be top of the mark, or maybe Attitude Era is top of the mark. I mean, that's the thing with movies. Avengers Endgame is the #1 movie of all time until you adjust for inflation, and then It's back to Gone with the Wind.
Right. So all right. So right out of the gate, we got some comments here. Of course, our old friend David Motorman, who was at SWO last night, said, good evening. Last night we traveled an awesome road to the Rumble in Pennsylvania, and then we go to the Reynolds Rumble leading us up to WrestleMania. So actually WrestleMania takes place before Reynolds Rumble. Reynolds Rumble, by the way, is May the 2nd, Friday. It is a Friday night show at the Reynolds Middle School in Lancaster. So, go on the SWO Facebook page for information. Also go to SWOprowrestling.org for tickets. And man, you'll see a great show.
It's on
Every Reynolds
Netflix.
Rumble there is off the hook. This is their 5th year of doing it.
Yeah.
What was that?
Huge main event. Huge main event too. Ace Dallas versus the Scumdog Sage Matthews. WrestleMania is on Netflix too. I thought PLEs and stuff were still exclusive Netflix.
No, it is both. It is on both. I don't know when they're going to switch that, but they have not yet.
Okay.
The last 5 or 6 PLEs have been on both. So that broadens the audience because not everybody overseas has Peacock, and you know that not everybody has a WWE Network, which still exists overseas in certain markets. Netflix exists everywhere. So
right.
So that's the key there, is that, you know, anybody who wants to
I think they've actually shut. I think the network actually has been shut. I think the network's actually been shut down everywhere because they have the
some
Netflix
countries
deal.
still have it. I heard that there's some countries out there that still have the network available. I mean, you can look that up and see if I'm wrong. You can check. You can check on me on that.
That's probably going to change. That's probably going to change by next year.
Okay, so that's David. Christopher's here. What's up, guys? Always good to see you, Christopher. Thundercat is here. What's up, Greg? Good to see you too. Hope all is good. Yeah, man.
While,
Thundercat, we're doing good. I mean, we had a great show last night. We had such a good time. It was a hell of a card. The main event of which was off the charts. It was crazy. It was chaos. There was at one point there was a referee got clotheslined, but then she got the better of Evan Atlas in the end. But holy mackerel, it was chaotic. It was a fatal doorway match. Several people went through doors, and in the end, Merrick Miami, the superstar, is the guy who stood victorious. Just got a lead on the show in Memphis, Tennessee. They are willing to put me up in a hotel. Do it. Yeah, baby.
Nice.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's awesome,
Memphis,
Greg.
Too.
Always good to hear, man. Always
I got
good
a buddy
to hear.
out that way.
Successes.
I got a buddy out that way. They're looking to do something, but I don't believe it's the same thing. I think what they're doing is like a death match kind of thing.
Okay. So let's get to WrestleMania, because it might take us a whole hour to go through this crazy card. It used to be one night and maybe 10 or 12 matches. Now it's 2 nights of 10 matches. It's crazy. But you know, we got a lot to get into. We'll start. And this is in no particular order, guys. They have not released night 1 and night 2, except for the main events. The main event of night 1 will be the triple threat match between Punk and Rollins and Roman. We will talk about that later. The main event of night 2 will be John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. We'll talk about that later. But in the meantime, Professor, let's get into, for the United States Championship, LA Knight, is taking on Jacob Fatu. And Jacob Fatu, as we all know, anybody that's been following WWE, he's a specimen. I mean, he's the werewolf. He is crazy. He lost a lot of weight to get into, you know, awesome shape, what he's into now. He's very athletic for his size. He is a menace. Is this the welcome home party for Jacob Fatu?
I mean, I think it has to be, right? The way he's been built and all that, no offense to LA Knight. I mean, LA Knight is going to be over with or without the belt. And Jacob Fatu has been destroying people. So it's not like if LA Knight were to get beat here, it's going to make him look like trash. So to me, you got to change the fight. You got to do it. It's one of those things where obvious things are obvious, and you do the obvious here. The obvious is the right thing.
I would agree. I'm not gonna take anything away from it. You're right. LA Knight's had this title now. This is twice for him. He can only get better. He can only move on to bigger and better things. Jacob Fatu for the win, in my opinion. You guys who are watching right now, you guys got to comment on who you guys think will win this match. Please send it my way. Jacob Fatu, Professor and I both agree that Jacob Fatu will walk out of WrestleMania the new United States champion.
And the other thing, too, is Mania is not necessarily blow-offs anymore. It's not necessarily, you know, the ending of the prior year and the beginning of the new year. So it's like there's nothing that stops them from turning this into something that continues. And I would make the argument it's probably a good idea to have it continue because LA Knight is a name still. And part of making sure he's not killed is wanting the belt back. And I'm a big fan of guys should want the belt back when they lose it, because guys who drop a belt and then don't want that belt back, don't want a rematch, don't want to even try, makes the belt look like shit.
I agree. Okay, moving on. So in the question of who done it, they've done this a million times. Somebody gets attacked. Oh my God, who did it? It's one of the oldest stories in wrestling, right?
Yeah.
And the old line of Rikishi Fatu where he says,
I was going to say, my question is, did she do it for The Rock?
Did Naomi do it for The Rock? No, but she did it for Bianca Belair, according to Naomi. But a new attitude Naomi faces on the Storm herself. That's Jade Cargill. I'll tell you what. I do not see this lasting any more than 5 minutes, but that's just me. Jade Cargill should destroy her. Your thoughts?
Has to be a showcase for Jade. Pure and simple. This is here for a showcase for Jade. The internet, and I'm going to say this more than once, and this is going to be my first bash the internet and bash the internet marks. Fuck the internet. I'm getting so... I mean, I'm sorry, but like, I have never seen so much bitching about WrestleMania as I've seen this year. Everybody is a freaking armchair booker. Everything is, oh, Triple H is screwing up. Oh, Jade sucks. But Jade Cargill is a star. Jade Cargill looks like a star. Yes, Jade Cargill is green as shit. She's green as baby shit. We all know that.
Not as bad as she was a couple years ago.
No, and again, why? Because she got fucking reps and she learned. That's how this shit works. Nobody looks great their first time out. I guarantee you, if you go back and watch like Chris Jericho's first matches, they suck. I guarantee you they suck. They probably don't suck as bad as his matches now, but they suck. I'm sure everybody's first matches suck. That's the problem with having somebody like Jade Cargill come in the way she did, where she's basically on national television immediately learning how to do this. But she has presence, she has star power, she's an absolute star of the future. There is zero reason that Jade Cargill should be losing to Naomi. Naomi is donating her body in this one.
I agree. Jade Cargill all the way. I don't see it going any other way. No offense to Naomi.
No, and it's not to piss on her at all. Naomi's the veteran. Jade Cargill is the up-and-coming next thing. You can trust Naomi to be safe. You can trust Naomi to bump for her and make her look good. Naomi knows her role in this, and her role in this is to be a carpenter and help build up Jade Cargill.
You got it. In a match that some people care a lot about and are looking forward to, I'm not one of those people. And I'm sorry if I piss any fans of either one of these guys off. But Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre, yes, it has, I love Drew McIntyre, especially the new Drew McIntyre, the Drew McIntyre that we've seen over the past couple years feud with CM Punk and
work-wise,
and Seth Rollins. And
I'll sit and watch that all day. I'll eat that one up.
Right. But there hasn't been much of a build to it. They were just kind of thrown together because neither one of them have a match. That's how I feel about it, and that's why I'm not invested in it.
It feels like it. But you gotta have those matches sometimes, right? Where you gotta have just that good match on the card. Maybe there's nothing behind it. You can sandwich it in between like a title match or a hot feud or something like that, and it's the shit we do on commentary too, right? You can always say if nothing else is going on with it, so it's not completely cold. Contention. It's about contention. It's about get a win to go on to the next thing, to elevate yourself in the title conversation. And it makes sense because both of these guys are former heavyweight champions. Both of these guys want to be heavyweight champion again, and it's going to be a good match.
It will be. I think McIntyre wins. I think they tried the Damian Priest experiment, and I think he got as far as, Judgment Day took him all the way to the world title, which is great. And I mean, yeah, will he ever get back there? I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
And I like Damian Priest because I mean he's a local guy. He's from New York. He was in the Monster Factory in New Jersey. Like all these cool things, and it's so cool to see somebody like that who a lot of
Worked
the people that we
SWO a few
associate
times.
with, ran into at one time or another in Jersey and PA. But and it's great to see how far he's come in his career. But man, McIntyre is the star here. I think not that they're not both stars, but McIntyre is the bigger star, and I think losing to Damian Priest, it does. I don't see it. I just don't see it. But I mean, if you guys think I'm wrong, tell me so.
I could see this one being a fuck or doing like a double count out or something. Like I could see this one. Don't settle it. Like let's put some meat on it and maybe let's come back to it, because I think the one thing Damian Priest needs is some seasoning, and he needs some really good dance part. I like Damian Priest. I see something in Damian Priest. I don't know what it is, but I see something in him. He kind of has that it factor, and he's good for the Latino market. He's a young Latino star that's going to sell in that market, so you can't destroy him. You got to build him up and get the most you can out of him. Yeah. So, to me, I would take this as step one. I would let this go a couple months longer, so get a few more matches out of it. And let's really see if we can kind of give this a little bit of on-the-job training to maybe bring something out of Damian, maybe repackage him a little bit.
For the women's tag team championship, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez will take on Lyra Valkyria, the women's intercontinental champion, and Bayley. There's been some heat between Lyra and Bayley as of late. They had a match. They had a hell of a match a week or two ago for the intercontinental championship, which Lyra did win. And at the end, Bayley looked like she was going to snuff her, but they ended up shaking hands and hugging and parting as friends. Morgan and Rodriguez, obviously, long history with these guys, and they're in the Judgment Day and stuff like that. They've been together for a while. For a while there, I thought this was a Shawn Michaels and Diesel situation where Liv was trying to have Raquel with her, just kind of like the enforcer behind her, and one day she's going to turn on her, and there's going to be a program between those two. But Morgan's been, what's that?
You could do that, but I think Rodriguez is a shitty babyface at this point. I absolutely hate her.
I like her as a heel. I do.
I told her Diesel because it was the same thing with Kevin Nash when they turned him babyface as Diesel. Everything that you liked about him that made you want to cheer for him was edited out immediately, and he just became a generic, family-friendly Vince McMahon babyface, and that's really what Raquel Rodriguez was. So I applauded the heel turn, and I'm fine with going ahead and redoing Shawn Michaels and Diesel with them, because I see it. I see the dynamic is very similar, and it can work, but if you are going to do that and you get to the place where you turn Rodriguez, for the love of God, make sure she can actually carry being a babyface this time.
This is true. All right, for the men's World Tag Team Championship for the 188th time, the New Day are the challengers, but this is a heel New Day. I don't know if you've seen them lately. Versus the War Raiders for the world heavyweight championship. For a while there, I thought the War Raiders were buried, and I had heard that they even got released and then brought back, but it was so quick that
I don't remember hearing about that. I know somebody was hurt. I remember that was
the bigger of the two was hurt for a while.
Right. He was hurt, and that that might have wound up being a blessing in disguise. I mean, certainly Vince McMahon going away and then being able to go back to the War Raiders gimmick and be more of what they were when they were War Machine and Ring of Honor and all of that. That was a blessing. I'm going to say, you know what, go for a squash here. War Raiders should be built as your, Legion of Doom, your Road Warriors at this point. New Day has been there, done that. I don't think anybody is really all that interested in
not even in heel, like not even in heel New Day.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody wants, title win number 750 for the New Day. So I think
for the record, it would be their 13th. They are 12-time tag team champions, so it would be their 13th.
That was close. That's close. But I think it's played out. I think it's time for them to elevate other people and then maybe split them off and let them do something else at this point. So I would probably put this somewhere where I need a cool down or I need to get the audience, primed to just have some fun. So I put them in that spot on the card and I let War Raiders basically squash them.
All right, moving on. For the Intercontinental Championship, the champion, Braun Breaker, is in a four-way with Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. And this happened because each Penta and Finn Balor failed to take the championship away from Braun Breaker. And there's been some tension between Dominic and Finn, even though Dominic's kind of been playing it off as he's kind of trying to help Finn push him to the Intercontinental title. As soon as Finn walks away, there's been some promos where he's in the back saying, you know what? I could be a good Intercontinental champion. My heart is with Dominic here. I think Braun retains, but my heart is with Dominic. I'm rooting for Dominic to win.
I think given the situation, I think you should put it on Dominic.
Yeah.
And then you should be the chicken shit heel anchoring the division that everybody is trying to rip his head off.
Right.
Because you walk out of this and Breaker can be pissed because he wants his title back. Don't involve him in the finish. Don't beat him. Or if Dominic's beating him, make it a fuck. Penta, either don't beat him or it needs to be a fuck because Penta is still pretty fresh.
They just brought Ray Phoenix in.
You got to do a fuck of. Well, maybe you can beat Penta then, because I'm looking down the line. I'm like, I don't want to beat Braun Breaker. I don't want to beat Penta and screw his momentum.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to necessarily beat Balor unless it's a fuck. Because
so it's either Dom taking the pin or Dom winning.
Right, because I want Dom and Balor. Obviously, there's money in that.
Yes,
and then Braun Breaker working around to, murder them because he wants his belt back. Penta's probably going to get spun off into the tag division at some point, you would think, because now they have Ray Phoenix.
Right.
So they're going to want the Lucha Brothers together. I'm not a big fan of them, but I think WWE can curb the stupider aspects of what they do and get them to actually learn how to work.
He had a great debut. Phoenix debuted on SmackDown. He had a great debut.
So I think they'll figure that out. Maybe I beat Penta here. Maybe I do something where it's like, he gets caught with somebody's finish and then Dominic, the chicken shit that he is, runs in, fucks that guy over, gets rid of him, and then picks the carcass. So nobody's going to remember, Penta lost, Penta's fucked. Except for the internet marks that think the minute you lose ever, you're done and you're buried. Hate those people. Can't stand them. I probably do that. And then, like I say, you can spin Penta off into the tag division when you're ready to do that.
Four-way, no rules, lazy booking, as our pal Mr. Cornette says.
Well, it's trying to cram everybody on the show.
Yeah,
it's Mania, and it's
you
trying to cram everybody.
You didn't have time to create friction to have Mysterio versus Bayley.
Yeah, and it's already going to be fucking 50 hours, 2 nights. I think the pre-show already started. I mean,
it did not.
I get
You're worse
it.
than Alan.
Well,
My
that's what
son
I was,
Alan said the
that's what I was
pre-show
trying to
starts
pop.
like Thursday night. I'm like, no, they have SmackDown on Friday, then they have the Hall of Fame ceremony.
But they have a lot of shit going on to make a whole
Well,
week
it's
out
a
of it.
week. It's a
Yeah.
week, man. Vegas. It's Vegas, baby.
Well,
It's
that's what
Vegas.
they do to get everybody to bid on it. Is it's a
So are
week
we
worth
agreeing
of
that
economic activity.
are we gonna lean towards Braun Breaker retaining here?
No, I think they're going to put it on Dominic. I think the opportunity is too good, in my
Dirty
opinion,
Dom.
to put. You got to put it on Dominic. He's
Okay.
earned it. And like I say, chicken shit heel that everybody is looking to get their hands on and rip his fucking head
What
off.
if Dominic pins Balor and that's how that starts? You know what I mean?
Can do it, but I feel like it's almost too early because
Okay.
I think I want.
This way Penta don't lose, Braun don't lose, but Dominic gets the title because he pins Balor.
Yeah,
Like with a tight
I
thing
feel
or
like I feel like I want to see some stuff where I want to slow burn the Balor thing, and I feel like if he gets pinned by Dominic, it's not going to slow burn. You're gonna immediately have to move to it, or Finn looks like an idiot and a puss.
Okay.
I mean, you could try to have something where it comes out in the end of like, yeah, I sucked it up and I waited until I had my moment, and then come after him. But I think the initial there is going to be Balor and Dominic are still allied. Braun Breaker is the mad dog trying to kill Dominic because he's not involved in the finish and he sees it as my title I didn't lose.
Yep.
I will now swat you, Mosquito, and get it back. And Finn is like, well, no, that's my running buddy, and that's Gold Narcamp. So we're gonna team up, and that's gonna create the friction and the problem because Dominic's gonna let Finn get murdered, and then Finn's gonna get to a point where it's like, I don't like getting murdered anymore, and you've always been kind of a little bitch anyway, so I'm just gonna fucking destroy you now.
From one
Simple
Mysterio,
stories.
from one Mysterio to another, Rey Mysterio will take on the greatest luchador in the world right now, and that's El Grande Americano.
Yeah, so obviously Mysterio has the job. Sorry, kids, he has the job. Like, the El Grande Americano thing it's comedy. It's dumb comedy, but it's dumb comedy that traditionally has worked. I'm not sure what the point and purpose behind it is, but I mean, the Midnight Rider, Mr. America, what was it when JYD did it? Stagger Lee.
That's going back, kids. Look that up.
Yeah. It worked. This stuff works.
Hey, Mr. America passed a lie detector test live on Raw.
Yeah, then he took his mask off in front of everybody, and it was Hulk Hogan.
Hey, listen, brother.
I didn't see that coming. I was shocked.
I was totally shocked.
Yeah.
First off, Chad Gable's an amazing athlete. All right. I'm so happy that he gets a one-on-one WrestleMania match.
Why are you talking about Chad Gable? Chad Gable's not involved in WrestleMania.
Okay. El Grande Americano is a tremendous athlete.
That's right.
And it's amazing that he gets a one-on-one matchup with would be one of his, heroes, his mentors. This is kind of cool. This is teacher versus student kind of thing. This is, you living a dream. You get to wrestle Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. How many WrestleManias does Rey Mysterio have left? You don't know.
No, so, I think Ray's getting close to the end here. I think he came back to make sure, get Dominic's foot in the door.
Which he did.
Help him out. Oh, in a big bad way. And I mean, Dominic has run with it.
I love Dominic, man. I can't get enough of Dominic.
Yeah, and I mean, Ray. Look, God bless Ray. Cash all the checks you can. His knees are shot.
He's an ambassador.
Yeah, his knees are shot. And again, be a mentor to the Latino talent. If he wants to transition him backstage, get his ass.
There you go.
As a producer, as a coach, as whatever. Keep him in the family. My son
is a huge fan of El Grande Americano, so
yeah.
In a match that was kind of thrown together this
past week,
Randy Orton versus Solo Sikoa.
So much bitching.
Best
So much bitching.
and what have you heard? Like, what bitching have you heard? Because
Oh, the internet's losing their mind. Worst possible opponent. He hasn't been on TV in months. I'm like, motherfuckers. Solo Sikoa was presented as a main event level talent.
yeah,
And
he just had
this
a war with
is
the
an
bloodline versus bloodline thing.
11th hour switch. Exactly. This is an 11th hour band-aid. Do the match. Once again, don't settle it. Let this continue. Get some money out of it. Rebuild Solo back into the badass, he was, the trajectory he was on. Shut the fuck up. Watch what they do and then start complaining.
I think that you should respect
Which you will, because even if it's good, there's that audience that's just...
Those of you who are pissed off about this match, let me say that out of respect for the fact that Kevin Owens would love nothing more than to be in this match, I'm interested to see how this match goes, because Kevin Owens for 25 years has entertained us and put his body on the line, and now his body is starting to break. And it might have broken for good. We don't know.
Yeah.
But, other wrestlers have come back from surgeries like this, but at the same time, he doesn't know. And not knowing that you can't do what you love for the rest of your life, man, I mean, that's a bitter pill to swallow, especially like in the wrestling community. We know wrestlers who just can't stop wrestling. They're 50, they're 60, they're higher than that, and they can't stop wrestling because they love it so much. Kevin Owens is still young in that aspect, but if his body's telling him, dude, you've beat the shit out of me for years, okay? Now it's time to calm down a little bit, and that sucks.
And it sucks too if he has to just abruptly stop. If he has to stop right now, he doesn't get the retirement match. He doesn't get to do it on his own terms. It's an addiction. Coming out there and being part of this is an addiction, straight up.
Yep.
I have it. Al has it. I tell people all the time, and they think I'm joking. I'm like, I'm not joking. I would like nothing better than to die at the broadcast table. Just get a stick, push me over, out of the way. You get another play-by-play guy in there. Up to you if you want to acknowledge why the switch, or you want to tell people after the show. But I mean, I get it. I get that sickness that guys have where, people will talk about like, oh, the Paul Bearer thing was tasteless. People would be like, no, Percy would have said yes. Percy would have said, go ahead and do it. I'm glad to still be part of it, even though I can't be here. I completely understand that mindset now. Having done it, it's like, no, I want to be part of it. I want to be part of it as long as I can be part of it. Yep. And I have and probably will continue to do stupid shit on occasion to be part of it. We all will. It is a sickness, and it is a crazy ass mindset. And I feel horrible for Kevin Owens that it could all be taken away from him like this when he was nowhere near ready, especially because this, in a lot of ways, was going to be one of, if not the biggest matches in his career.
Kevin Owens, get better. Randy Orton said it when he was walking out after he gave his little speech on SmackDown. Randy Orton came out, got up on the apron, and said, "Get better."
Yeah.
And that was it. And he walked away before he lost it because, Kevin's an emotional guy. So I hope he comes back. The place will, it's kind of like one of those things when we didn't think Triple H was ever going to come back with the knee thing. And he did. And the pop that, if Kevin Owens,
I always figure with the plot he would come back.
I'm just saying with Kevin Owens,
I didn't think he would come back.
I'll give you a
like,
better. I'll
give
you a better example because you were sitting right next to me when it happened. When Edge returned at the Royal Rumble a few years back.
I thought that was never going to happen.
This man's jaw was on the floor, kids. Because that was one of those holy shit. You know, that was cool.
And now, sadly, we all want him to go away.
Well, that's a whole nother subject. All
Yeah.
right. For the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, champion Io Sky defends against Bianca Belair, who won the Royal Rumble, and Rhea Ripley, who should have beat Io Sky twice in the past 2 months, but if it wasn't for Bianca Belair. So that's why we have this triple threat matchup for the championship. Io feels like nobody cares. Like, everybody's worried about Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair tearing each other's heads off, but hey, hello, I'm the champion. She feels disrespected.
She's the third
I
wheel.
respect the Genius of the Sky. I love the Genius of the Sky, but I don't see her walking out with the championship. By the way,
No,
in that last match, did you pick Solo to go over?
I feel like he should. I don't know that they're going to do that.
Okay. Not with Tama Tonga, maybe some chicanery and
That's what I would probably do. I don't think they want to do a clean finish. And
Right.
I don't know what I would want them to in this case either.
yeah.
I think you want to do Tama Tonga, or maybe you want to even get somebody new. I think you still have one or two
Maybe
guys.
if you bring in somebody new and it's that
don't
wow,
they have
oh my
don't
god.
they have Lance in the system? Don't they have Lance?
They have Lance and they have another one too.
That's why I'm saying, like, you could get Lance or you get somebody else involved in it too. Like, I just feel like that one should probably end on like a DQ. The Samoans beating the shit out of Orton and leaving him for dead, and then it becomes we're off to the races from there. And that's probably the way to go there. But for this one, I like Io Sky. I'm not trying to disrespect Io Sky. Io Sky is the third wheel.
Yeah.
I don't really know why Io Sky is here, other than they couldn't figure out anywhere else to put her on the card.
Right.
And I think everybody wants to see Rhea and Bianca. It's natural. It makes sense. It's a Mania level matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kevin Nash talked about it on his podcast this week. Is like, nobody cares that Io's here. Nobody really wants Io here. I'd almost say, like, just give her the night off and give her that, like, sit there and play dead spot during the match as much as humanly possible. And just kind of have
take the pin.
Pinfall breakups.
So Rhea and Bianca are going to be I think Rhea and Bianca are going to be a thing leading all through the summer. I think that's going to be a thing, a program.
That would be the only argument I think to do this. Is
Io's going to take the pin by whoever
we don't want to
wins.
blow our wad with it at Mania. We want it for SummerSlam.
So
we don't know
you can stretch this out all summer. You can stretch this out all summer between Rhea and Bianca, and Io's there to take the pin.
Yeah,
by whoever wins.
If they did that, it would make sense to me. Otherwise, if we're like one and done, or we're done with this until like next year's WrestleMania, I don't know why Io Sky is here other than to just be like, we like Io and we wanted her to get a WrestleMania reward and be able to walk into a WrestleMania and say you're champion as a thank you.
And I think Bianca turns full-fledged heel and she wins.
I'd like to see heel Bianca Belair back. I like me some heel Bianca Belair.
Yeah. I think she wins. She turns full-fledged heel. She's already halfway there as it is. And Rhea Ripley chases then.
I could live with that.
That's what I would do. In a match, in my opinion, that's going to steal the fucking weekend. It's my opinion, but you guys have yours. Let me know if you agree. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. And let me preface this by saying I fucking can't stand Logan Paul. I can't. As a person, as a businessman, I can't stand him. I can't stand his existence on the planet. However, I do respect the fact that the man took this seriously, learned how to do this, and he does it really well.
He learned from Rip Rogers, for Christ's sake. He went out and got Rip to train him.
And then he's facing a guy who's been doing this shit for almost 30 years and is not called phenomenal for no reason. This guy, this match to me, I'm so glad it's happening because I don't know how much AJ Styles has left. So I'm so happy that it's happening. I don't really care who wins. I'm guessing Logan wins. That's my lean. Why would it? Why would AJ beat him? I don't know. But I think Logan wins, but I think this is going to be the match of the weekend. Your thoughts?
Logan probably goes over. AJ's made it pretty clear that he's winding down. Whatever the term of this current contract is, I think there's only a couple of years left on
We
it
agree,
at
Chris.
most. Yeah. I think he only has a couple years at most. He's made it clear that he's done everything he feels like he needs to do, and this is the end. So I don't, unless they have one really good program lined up. And look, it's AJ fucking Styles. You can find a good fucking program for AJ Styles. I can find a good program for AJ Styles tomorrow. He's an asset.
Right.
But Logan Paul is the head asshole at this point. People legit fucking hate him. And
Yeah.
being a legend and a future Hall of Famer like AJ Styles is only going to make him look that much better. And AJ is the right guy. Logan Paul does what Logan Paul does. I've heard a lot of stuff about, he is very much a guy that needs to be scripted and have everything laid out in advance and choreographed and whatever else. And AJ will be able to do that for him and lead him through. This might be a little bit of an on-the-job training thing here to get him away from being so scripted and so stilted.
Yeah.
So I think Logan Paul is going to go over.
Oh, I think he does too, and I just think it's going to be an amazing match.
It
I
should
think they're
be
going to
good.
they're going to give them
I think you're
time.
going to have. Yeah, I think you're going to have that usual trying to create flippy dippy high spots that everybody believes. I
They'll
don't know how
have
much.
that.
I don't know how much I trust that there's going to be a lot of storytelling here. I feel like that's on AJ to pull that out of him and see if he can pull that
I
out of
think
him.
he can do that. Chris's question here was, do we think that there's going to be a lot of surprise interferences? Probably more so in the main event, and I say main events plural. So I think both nights will have something like that. We did talk about Solo maybe having some new member of the Bloodline interfere in that match to help him go over Randy. Other than
Right,
that,
I could see bringing one of them out, but I don't see a lot of opportunity where I would really want to do that. That would make sense in a lot of ways.
I mean, The Rock could
Because
always
I
get
mean, unless
involved in the main event with Cody
yeah,
and Cena, which
please don't, please don't, please, Dwayne, stay the fuck in the back.
it's
This is not
inevitable.
your
I think.
year. This is
Well,
not
it's
your
never his
year.
year, but he comes out whenever he wants to. He's The
No,
Rock.
last year they managed to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. They absolutely managed to
The
fix
Undertaker.
Rock's ego bullshit on that one. And they actually wound up enhancing what they were doing because of it.
Right.
This year, I don't think he can do anything but be a detriment if he's out there. I think they've been really smart to keep him away after the Cena turn and not turn it into something like Cena is subordinate to him or anything like that. I have kind of toyed with something where if for whatever reason you're not going to put the belt on Cena, or even if you do put the belt on Cena, you maybe do something where Rock comes. Yeah, where maybe Rock comes out there and does something. I mean, not to skip ahead. I'm not trying to skip ahead.
No. We can talk about this. We'll talk about the triple threat last.
Yeah, but we didn't talk about Charlotte and Tiffany either.
We're getting there.
Okay.
You got to have a relief in between these two.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably I thought you could do something like Austin and Triple H. Which kind of got aborted, and I think everybody forgets about it because of H's quad just aborted that whole thing, where you had the 2-man power trip, where in this case you can have them as arrogant heels of we've moved on from silly wrestling and we're Hollywood guys, and we're moguls now and this, that, and the other.
We're above wrestling.
Really, right, and really, really piss people off, and that would work really, really well, I think, if Cena had the belt. but would still work if he doesn't, and would be a good pivot if they're not giving Cena the belt. The only problem with that is Rock is not going to work more than one match a year, if even that. So I don't know that this would work as effectively as the Austin Triple H two-man power trip would have, because at that time, both of them were wrestling, as much as they were asked to be wrestling. And they were racking up all the titles. That was the whole point. They were winning every belt in sight, and they were going to monopolize everything under them.
Do you think they give it to Cena to set the record?
I think they give it to Cena for the fact that I think it's time for Cody to lose. I think it's time for Cody to chase. I think the internet needs to go to hell, and I'm seriously tired of... No, I'm tired of this, because I'm going to go on a rant here.
Here we go.
All of you motherfucking marks that bitched about Roman Reigns. Roman's terrible.
I agree,
you just don't like long title reigns.
I agree with
Attitude Era guys. You want the belt to change every 3 weeks. That was bad for business ultimately. That's part of what put us in the goddamn hole that they're finally getting out of now. Yes, Cody's been the champion for a year, and it's been successful as fuck. And Cody's been a great champion. Go to hell. This ridiculous stuff trolling about Cody can't work, Cody's this, Cody's that. No, Cody's the brand ambassador. He's established. I think you can do a lot with John Cena having it for quite a few months. Cody to chase him, Cody to be built back up and kind of get the next gear of what Cody's going to do. I give it to Cena because of that.
And we do too. We love Cody. This is no knock on Cody.
I'm saying beat Cody to help Cody. Sometimes beating somebody is helpful.
Yes.
Only the fake smart fans.
Ask Bill Goldberg.
They think that beating a guy is ruination no matter what. Cody's got to lose the title at some point. This is a good time and a good place for Cody to lose the title. And to me, the record doesn't matter.
No.
I'm sorry. I don't buy into especially being in the business now. I don't buy into title reigns. I don't buy into title records or any of that. You don't win it. You don't win it and you don't lose it.
17 times.
Somebody's told to lose it to you, and you're told to lose it. It is not a shoe. You do not win the title. Titles matter. It's great to get them. But Ric Flair is still Ric Flair. He's still the greatest WWE
boy.
He's still the greatest WCW champion in history.
Limousine riding.
He's still one of the greatest NWA champions in history.
By the way,
and the record isn't even 16 times.
Oh no. It's like more like 22 or 23.
Yeah, he's had it like 22. There's a bunch that don't count.
The answer to this question, though,
they were unauthorized fixes.
Christopher, the answer to this question is absolutely.
You give it to Cena, but you don't give it to Cena to set the record.
You can't see me.
The only reason you're going to bring up the record is, again, to make people angry. But I think you give it to Cena because there are good storyline reasons to give it to Cena, and it is going to give Cody another quest. And I think Cody needs a quest.
Speaking of Ric Flair, woo! His daughter goes for number 14, I think it is.
No.
15?
No.
Something like that.
No.
Charlotte Flair takes on Tiffany Stratton. Is it Tiffy time?
Yes.
Or is it Woo time?
No.
Woo! All hail the queen, Professor.
No.
Your hatred for Charlotte Flair is just...
I don't hate Charlotte Flair. There is no universe, even on Earth fucking 3, should Charlotte Flair be beating Tiffany Stratton. It should not happen. It better not happen. If it does happen, people can start saying, okay, Triple H is a shitty booker. There is no reason to start... Andy, there is zero reason that Charlotte Flair should be beating Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton Tiffany
She's be
Stratton
the
has worked her ass off.
14-time
Who
women's
cares?
champion.
Who cares?
Woo!
Don't be
All
a
hail the
mark.
queen, Professor.
Don't be marks.
She needs consoling. You know, she's had a rough patch the past couple of months.
Has your wife
I
given you a
think
hall pass
Ashley
on her yet?
I
She's
think
single again.
Ashley needs consoling. She needs somebody to talk to. I'm a good listener, Ashley. You can call me up.
Come on,
No problem.
Ashley, like you know her.
It's not cheating if all I'm on the phone and I'm listening to a conversation. Okay.
I'm sending this to your wife.
Here we go. Flair will probably win. She's got mega heat. Yeah. They were still happy to see her at the Rumble, but then they hated that she won.
Yeah.
They turned on her when she won the Rumble. They saw her like, oh my God, it's the queen.
That to me is the wrong heat. Like you can turn that into the
Tiff
right
is the future. Heat. I agree with that, Chris.
Yeah.
I love Tiffany Stratton.
You can turn it into the right heat ultimately, but not by putting her over Tiffany Stratton. Maybe if you do a fuck.
Right.
Maybe you could get away with it then, but I think doing it at WrestleMania, I think it's still the wrong kind of heat. I think people would just lose their shit. I think Charlotte really needs to change up her act a little bit. I think she's been doing kind of the same thing.
What else can she be? She's the fucking queen.
She's the fucking queen.
Hold down.
There were times when Ric Flair was a little more like aggressive and had that sort of like yeah, he had the robe and he had all that stuff, but he was also the guy that would, have blood streaming down his face and going like, motherfucker, let's go. We're gonna sweat, we're gonna bleed. I want to fight you. Like
we're getting there, Andy. That's next.
Yeah, like those Eric Bischoff, that promo on Bischoff, right? And I know he was shooting, basically, but I mean, like that was Ric Flair too. That was a man that was a crazy person that just happened to be in a suit that night, screaming, fire me, fire me, fire me! I'm already fired. Fire me! I'm already fired. Come on down here. I'll kick the shit out of you. Come on.
I love it. That's good. Well, maybe
I think Charlotte needs some more of that. Right. I think we need to see, not all the time. We didn't see that all the time with Rick either. And I'm not saying it has to be the same gimmick. I don't want her to be a carbon copy of her father.
No.
But I think we need to see her lose her composure every once in a while. We need to see that there is a fire in the belly there somewhere. I think they're not that she needs to ditch what she's done or completely change things, but I think it's time to tweak it a little bit.
So what do you make of the fact that Gunther versus Jey Uso, neither that match nor the women's title match, like people are making a big deal that the World Heavyweight Championship matches should be the main events, but when you got Punk and Rollins and Roman, I mean, how can you not make that one of your main events?
And that's my point. Objectively, I like both. I love Gunther.
Gunther's the man.
Gunther is such a throwback. I mean, when I saw him in NXT UK as Walter, and I knew his reputation, I had never.
You told me about him way back then. I didn't watch. Yeah. I didn't watch UK. You watched UK. You saw this guy come in 5 years ago.
Oh yeah, I knew his reputation beforehand, and I was telling everybody once I saw him work, like it gives me feels, inappropriate feels. His work is so good, and he has been amazing. And but the way I look at it is, it's time to go with Jey. The World Heavyweight title is kind of, whether they mean it to or not, and I don't think they necessarily mean it to be. But we all know the WWE champion is the face of the company. The World Heavyweight champion is always going to be the other, world title.
That's correct.
Let's give it to Jey. Let's see what he's got. If he's got nothing and he can't handle the spot, at least it's the thank you run of getting the belt. But he's earned his way up here. Fuck everybody who's saying that he didn't. You guys are, you guys. I mean, I'm
He
serious.
won
Like,
the Royal Rumble.
but I mean, people are like, oh, stop. He's not one half of the Usos
worked
anymore.
hard.
He's grown
That
out of
promo,
that.
the Monday night after Raw, the Monday Night Raw after the Rumble, that was some real shit. Like
Yeah,
he broke several times.
He has grown up. He is a main event level player now. Get over it. The only thing that I can see somebody making an argument for, and it's a valid argument because I am a rules guy. I am a guy that says if you don't follow the rules, if you lay out a stipulation, you got to follow the stipulations.
Professor's got a fan today.
I know people like me when I'm angry. I'm the opposite of Bruce Banner. If you tell, and this is a fair complaint, and I do credit this complaint and say it's fair because one thing that pisses me off professionally, and it pisses me off as a fan, is don't tell me the sky is blue and then you paint it green.
Right.
Don't put a stipulation on something and then don't follow through on the stipulation unless you have a way to negate it organically. Don't tell me the winner of the Royal Rumble gets the main event of WrestleMania.
Right.
I think it's time to tweak that now.
Yes.
And say, nope, the winner of the Royal Rumble gets to face the
championship of his choosing.
But you do not necessarily get the main event slot of WrestleMania anymore.
Right. And that's where everybody's like, well, wait a minute. It says when he wins the Rumble, and it'll be the main event.
That's fair. I think that's fair. Is it something that should get as much, tears as it is? No. I don't think it's that big a deal. It's not like if somebody lost a loser leaves town or a career match, and then the next show they come out and everybody acts like the match doesn't happen. That everybody should riot and be like, I want to go back. I want you to go back in time and give me my money back.
Chris, there's been like 35. There's been 35 Royal Rumbles in history, and I'm sorry, 37 now since 1988, and
but only since 93 has it been a title shot.
Correct. That's part of it. So it's only 31, 32 straight that have had title shots, and I think maybe 25 to 28, somewhere in that neighborhood, won the title at Mania.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look.
We're gonna have to look, but yeah, more times than not. I mean, the percentage is high. It's like 80% of the time, something like that.
And like I said, I think in this case, the right call is to pull the trigger and put it on Jey Uso. Gunther is Gunther. He'll go out and, you're not done. You're not done with these guys with this match.
Oh, no.
Jey wins, gets to have a moment. I wouldn't screw up his moment now at Mania. I think he's earned it. Mm-hmm. But on Raw the next night, I would probably have Gunther beat the shit out of him to the point that I would almost want, color on Jey and keep it going. But I'm tempted to do it at Mania because I'm such a fan of heat on your heels. But I think that's one where you gotta restrain the impulse and just know that, like, if you do it the next night, if you see Gunther beating the shit out of him in the parking lot and fucking him up.
All right, I promised my wife I'd be done by 8, and we're close. So
yeah, we are.
Seth freaking Rollins versus CM Punk versus the OTC Roman Reigns. Who wins and why?
This one is actually hard. Because you have the Paul Heyman factor. So it's like you want to almost play, for lack of a better term, custody of Paul Heyman is the CM Punk Roman Reigns issue, and I can keep that going.
Mm-hmm. Which moves it off of Rollins and Punk.
And Punk and Rollins have that pre-established issue. that I want to do. It's like these guys are going to probably be, all three of them are going to be dancing with each other to some extent going forward out of this.
Paul is a little bitch.
No,
Wow.
Andy, no.
Not a fan of Paul Heyman, are we? I got Seth only because everyone was saying he was the Iron Man of Mania last year.
I mean, I could see that, and Seth's still, because I haven't been paying nearly enough attention. Seth's a heel still, right?
He's kind of a tweener. They still sing his song when he comes out, but in this situation, Punk and Roman are kind of faces, and he's kind of the heel in the situation.
So maybe I put Seth over with one of those like opportunistic deals where he goes over Punk. Because I think because I don't think Punk's going to be a little bitch about like wanting to win or anything like that. I think it's enough for him that he got his Mania main event.
Right.
He's in the spot, and he'll do business. And I think he understands. You know, it would probably be better for business if Seth gets a seemingly undeserved win over him. Maybe like Roman spears Punk. Maybe Heyman somehow gets involved, it tries to separate them, keep them apart. And Roman spears Punk, and then there's the like, whoa, wait, and they can have an issue, and Paul can be involved of like, who was Heyman really loyal to here, and was the plan? And then Seth can run around for months going, I beat CM Punk ain't shit, So I feel like this is not the last of these three guys working together collectively or in singles. I think these guys are going to be dancing on and off for a few months to come. But the more I think about it, I think I probably want Rollins over Punk in kind of a chicanery way, so Rollins can do the undeserved, victory shit, get under Punk's skin, and everybody can sort of figure out issues, and we can get some good wrestling going forward off of it.
CM Punk for the win. All right, so
my heart would love to see Punk do it. When I look at stuff, I'm trying to look at it as like
I know
business and what
direction you think they're going to go.
What's good for business and what gives us like the next chapter, because you can never truly end anything because it's a soap opera that never ends.
What do you make of some people have Heyman turning on Punk and Roman, because he did mention in a recent promo that I would never turn on CM Punk or Roman Reigns as long as I'm breathing. And then Seth Rollins in the last episode of SmackDown was going to give him a curb stomp, and he stopped and he said, now you owe me a favor. So what if Heyman helps Rollins win?
I could see it.
That's the favor.
That's doable too. I mean, does Rollins need Paul? No. But does Roman need Paul? No, not at this point. No. Does Punk need Paul? No, not at this point. But Heyman, like Heyman says, he's not a manager, he's an advocate. A manager is usually paired with someone who needs a talker or needs a heel to a degree, needs that chicken shit asshole to take a beating for them or whatever. Paul doesn't do that. And Paul doesn't get with guys that do that. He's there to enhance main event talents.
Yep.
Seth has been good at reinventing himself, and he's probably due for another reinvention. So I could definitely see some money in, Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and maybe that even tweaks Paul a little bit and gets Paul a little bit closer to kind of the old Paulie Dangerously, the mad scientist of ECW, that character. That if he were to bring like the Paulie Dangerously element back into his presentation with Seth Rollins, that would be great. I think I want that now. I think you just told me something.
Guys,
I want that now.
Thank you so much to Piranha, Andy, Chris, all you guys commenting in. Give Paul chicken and waffles. Yeah. Like Greg, excellent. I want to thank you guys all. You guys constantly support us. Dave Motorman, you, of course, always send us a great comment to start the show. Greg, Thundercat, that's awesome about Tennessee, man.
Yeah. Go get it.
We love all you guys. We want to thank we hope you guys enjoy WrestleMania 41 on Easter weekend. It is on the 19th and the 20th. It starts at 7. There is a pre-show at 6, not at 4 or 5, as the professor said earlier. It starts at 6 o'clock. And it is live from Las Vegas on both nights, but the fun starts on Friday on SmackDown, and then it rolls right into the Hall of Fame. Triple H, the Natural Disasters, Michelle McCool, among the ones getting the honors this year. So I'm interested to see the Triple H speech. I think it's going to be pretty cool.
All very worthy.
Piranha, see you May the 2nd, my friend. At the Reynolds Rumble 5. Professor and I will have the call. It was an honor. You had some problems with Naeem the Dream Brooks, man. That was chaos too. And then right after intermission, man, you guys battled straight into the locker room. So, you ever seen an SWO show, guys? You got to get yourselves down to Seven Valleys. But on May the 2nd, Friday the May 2nd, they're going to be at the Reynolds.
Meanwhile, there's always YouTube.
And yes, and if you haven't seen any SWO action, you want to check it out. All their matches are on YouTube on the SWO YouTube channel. And you'll see the Professor and I will have Professor and I have the call on the matches. Thank you very much, everybody that supports us. Next week there is no show. True. Next week is WrestleMania weekend. There is no show, but we'll be back here the following Sunday at 7 o'clock as usual with a new guest and a new Around the Turnbuckle for you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Professor, thank you, man, for sticking by me all these years. We're almost on our 5th anniversary. Chris, thank you. 5 years strong. Thank you, man.
Another month.
It's cool. We can't wait. Yeah. We'll brainstorm and we'll come up with something fun to do on that anniversary day. So that's towards the end of May, early June.
Yeah.
In the meantime, for the Professor, I am Big Al. This was Around the Turnbuckle WrestleMania 41 special. I hope you guys enjoy WrestleMania next weekend, man, and we'll see you guys in a couple weeks back here on Around the Turnbuckle.
You think you know me?
Oh, yeah! If you smile!